Hi, everybody. Sherry Lawrence with the YouTube conference, coming to you back from home after the 7-show North American leg of the Stories of Surrender tour just finished up. And I just want to say this post is going to have spoilers. If you're trying to be spoiler free, then stop this now and come back after you've seen the show in Europe. So, with that, we at U2 Conference understand that a lot of folks are curious about what the content of the show is. Is it like the book? Is it close to the book? Is it anything like the book? Is it anything like a U2 show? And the short answer is okay, spoilers coming. Yes, over 70% of the show, in my humble opinion, is derived directly from the book. It is a book tour after all. So, with that, and with the understanding that there is a large portion of the U2 fan community who really wanted to see the show and have been unable to, and also with my conversations in San Francisco with touring members of the staff, that apparently there aren't any plans to formally video this for like a Netflix special or something for, a formal release by U2 or anything like that, which is very disappointing. In Europe, you guys have time. You can video this. We all want to see this. This is an amazing show. And it's just a shame that the majority of the U2 fandom in places like Australia and Africa, Asia, lots of different parts of Europe, lots of different parts of North America and South America, definitely South America, are unable to see this. So U2, you can do better. You can release this. But if you choose not to, then the fan community, we've come up with something sort of like a cheat sheet. In talking with folks in San Francisco, I thought that this show was like a 3 or 4 act play. And my initial thought was solidified when a staffer told me, yes, look at the Sorrento Lounge scenes. And if you look at those scenes, then you can sort of break down the show. So with that, I've come up with what I believe to be a 4-act playbill with the breakdown of what the scenes are, where the songs show up, and the references to the book with the show. So this is what it kind of looks like. On u2conference.com, we have put this up as a graphic. You can print it out. You can keep it on your computer and just reference it as you're reading along with the book. With the breakdown, once again, spoilers ahead, there's the prologue where Bono explains a lot about the connection between Orpheus and Eurydice, and U2 Conference, we're going to get into that deeper in future concasts. But for right now, and the linkage of that Greek story to Bono and Ali, a lot of the theaters in the United States were at an Orpheum. So Orpheus at the Orpheum, it kind of writes itself right there. Then it goes into Act 1, where there's an introduction with City of Blinding Lights, welcome remarks, and Vertigo. Those are shortened versions of the songs. They are reimagining. I would picture them being on the Songs of Surrender when that album comes out. Then Scene 1 goes into Bono and Ali's relationship with or Without You, going into, it's almost word for word in Chapter 6, what he says on the stage with the graphics behind. Scene 2, it's in Eccentric Heart, again, Chapter 1. Scene 3, La Traviata, which is more about his upbringing with Bob and Iris and the love of opera, going from basically birth to age 18 in about 5 minutes. It's really quick, but it packs a punch. Then there's some instrumental music from Boy and from with Into the Heart, a little bit of the Ramones. Out of Control is sung, but again, it's an abbreviated version. And then we get to the Sorrento Lounge. Now, the Sorrento Lounge is a key part of the show. the Sorrento Lounge is a subsection of Finnegan's Pub, the local, as is said, in Dalkey, where Bono and Bob, his dad, would go on Sundays to have a little chat. I won't get into that into too much detail, but that is what drives the narrative for the rest of the show. Act two, we get into the forming of the band in Larry's kitchen, the introduction of the band members, the Yellow House, which is in the book with the subtitle of the Yellow House describing the formation of I Will Follow and the significance of that. You can read it in the book. A snippet of Iris is sung by Gemma Doherty and spoken by Bono, and then we get to Sorrento Lounge 2. Act 3, we get into Shalom and the almost breakup of the band, the honeymoon phase between Bono and Ali while they're making an album called War. All that you can find in the book. Chapter and verse is in the document. Then we get to a third Sorrento Lounge, and I will say that the first three Sorrento Lounges all use Luciano Pavarotti as almost a comedic foil, but to link together the father and son relationship. And it's very well done. There's a lot of comedy involved in it. And if you have the audio version of the book, you can hear Bono do a really good impersonation, which he also does in the show. Goes into Miss Sarajevo a little bit, and then into the life of advocacy with what happened at Live Aid. Pride, Where the Streets Have No Name, are both sung again. It's sort of a snippeted version of it. It's not the full song, but it's really good. And then Act 3 ends with Desire, talking about, both the relationship that he had with Ali, but also the desire to get things done for that actualist aspect of the advocacy that he does, and he goes into that a little bit. Then Act 4 basically closes out the show, talks about Bob's death, talks about how the baritone finally became a tenor. All that also is in the book. All that you also hear in the audiobook. So if you've gotten to the end of the book, I'm not telling you anything new. It is literally a greatest hits of the book. It is truly a tour of the book, which is cleverly done, and we'll have other concasts down the line that'll dive into those bits in a lot more detail. But for right now, I will end it with the reprise of City of Blinding Lights. Again, all of this can be yours on u2conference.com. So that is your spoiler of what happens in the show, how it links to the book, and we will have a lot more to say both in our Discord channel and in future concasts. So in the meantime, thanks so much for listening and watching, and have fun in Europe if you're going to see the show in Europe, and if you listened through all the way to the spoilers. It's about a 2-hour show, and it gut punches you. More on that later. Take care.